Howdy ho, neighbors. Welcome to Essential Credentials Podcast, episode 38. And guess who came back? Look who it is.
The miracle.
There they are. They're here.
We're
The link is here. We've got Alan and we've got Matthew, so that's great. But how you doing, Greg?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Excited to talk some cards with you guys. So yeah.
Awesome. Enjoying your Labor Day so far? Taking life easy?
Yeah. Getting used to like a new work schedule, so just kind of feels like a normal day for me. So yeah, just nothing too crazy. Didn't really grill out or do anything like that. We had some tacos, just kind of laid back and had a relaxing day.
Awesome. How about you, Alan? You enjoying the Labor Day, not having to call into work today?
That's probably the one good thing about Labor Day, which is not having to go into work today. Everything else has been crazy. It's like 100 degrees here. There's fires everywhere. And we all are dealing with COVID, so you can't really go outside, but you don't really want to stay inside either. So I think we were supposed to try to get together yesterday, but it was just too hot. Today, I think it's only like 98 degrees. So I feel like I could maybe manage. But you could tell my environment is different. I came to a different room just because it was just way too hot in my normal room.
Well, if Alan starts to melt away, Greg, we'll have to call the paramedics and have them show up and put them back together. So
You got some air conditioning over there?
No, I was telling Matt, I have this tiny little oscillating fan that blows cold mist at you, but the vent is like 1.5 times the size of a baseball card. So this tiny little thing. That's all I got.
So what are you doing? Like to stay cool? How do you?
I'm just sitting here in my underwear all day. That's pretty much it. Like, what else are you gonna do? Like, wear as few clothes as possible and just try to ride it out. I mean, it's been this way for like the past 3 days. It's gonna be, I think, one more day of that before we get past it. This is supposed to be some sort of historic heat wave too. So.
All right.
But do you have air conditioning? Like,
We do not have air conditioning. We do not have central air, and our it's just my room is like way hotter than the rest of the house. So,
I was telling him to buy like a miniature AC unit or something so he's not miserable, you know?
The thing is, you have to put those.
What's
I
that?
was just gonna say the window units. You know, I had one in college.
This house is over 100 years old. Like, if I tried to put a window unit on the window, it would probably break the foundation. I mean, it's brittle. So, yeah, that wouldn't work. I mean, I could do one of those roller ones, you know, but then you still have to attach the tube to the window to draw in air. And I'm just
right.
I feel like about California is that, like, there's maybe a week or two where it's like this, unbearably hot, but not enough, not like Tennessee, to justify sort of an entire season of AC.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm in the South, and so I'm used to hot weather, but I need the air conditioner. Like, I wouldn't make it without some air conditioning.
Right. Well, after living in Arizona for 3 years and going to college, man, I don't know what I would have done without it. It's unbearably hot there. So I feel your pain, Alan.
In college, I had like a window unit, and so only my bedroom would get cool. But that was good enough because when I sleep, I need to be cool.
Yes.
Right.
I was like in the living room, I was fine. I was in my boxers the whole time. But
I feel like that's like bringing back a memory. I don't know if anybody's remembering anything like that, but that's bringing back a memory.
In the opposite end, it was Ohio. So like when it got cold, I had to wear like blankets, multiple blankets.
Right.
Because I was freezing.
Right.
That's California in a nutshell. In the winter, it's frigid here.
Yeah. I can handle the cold though, because you can put stuff on.
Yeah,
when you're hot,
I love the cold.
You're stuck.
Yep.
Right.
You can't peel off more skin. There's nothing you can do.
Well, I think I know why Alan bought a mister that's almost the size of a baseball card. Like, everybody in the house is miserable. Everybody's melting, but he has his box of baseball cards. And he's got that little mister like sitting right on it. You know, don't want the Bonds cards to melt and stick to the case or anything.
Yeah.
Everybody else fled the house. They're smart. They went somewhere where there's AC.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, how's it been going card wise for you guys? We haven't gone on live for 3 weeks now. I've been busy getting things ready for remote learning. I'm teaching from school, but I'm teaching on a computer. So I've been very locked into getting ready for that. But I mean, how's it been, Greg? I mean, have you been able to snag a few cards here and there over the last 3 weeks?
Yes and no. It's with everything that's going on, it's insane. So I almost hit like my principal like ceiling of like I can't go any higher. I can't spend any more money on this stupid card. So like right now I'm frustrated because I'm going for the 97 credential set.
Right.
And minus the Griffey, the Jeter, the Ripken, the people you expect to kind of pay high prices for.
Right.
I kind of expect that, but today I lost a Nomo for $103.
Oh my gosh.
2 days ago, the bonds went for $255, and so this set out of $299 that I kind of was like excited to put together is now getting out of hand because the normal people I didn't expect to really pay a lot for are now in like a crazy price range to where I have to adjust. Like, do I even really want this set for what it's going to be, what it's going to cost me? Because it's getting absurd.
Yeah.
I was just kind of looking around I bought a Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie card about 2 years ago for $350. It's a 7.5 BGS.
Yeah.
And I looked today, and they're going for about like $1,000 to $2,000, and it just seems like everything is at an absurd price. So, not even our 90s inserts are excluded from it. It's like the 97 credentials I'm paying crazy prices for. I've got like 26 left for the set. So it's frustrating to try to get these random players. I guess Bonds isn't that random, and Nomo kind of has a following, but it's still looking at just like the cards that I need, they're going for 5 to 10 times what they were when I was trying to put the set together at the beginning.
That was just a year ago.
Yeah, they're going for what essential credentials from that set were going for just about 2.5, 3 years ago. I mean, I have the Bonds 97 essential credentials. That's out of 99, right, or 100, and I think I paid like almost 400 for it. You know what I mean? So you're talking about just a little bit less than that for the one at 299. It's unreasonable. It'll make you think about maybe, I don't know, selling out and then maybe coming back later on while it's cheaper, or just go in a holding pattern for now. So I don't know what the solution is.
And it's like there's 299 of these things, so it's not like they're super rare. So I have contemplated, I was like, man, because I've got the Griffey, and I think somebody has the Griffey up now for $999. And I paid, I want to say $175.
Yeah.
So I'm like, should I just cave and get rid of the whole thing? Because the collector side of me is like, don't cave, finish the set, don't be a wuss, suck it up and complete it.
Yeah, right.
But the other part of me is like, man, I could get something a lot cooler. I'm not really a set collector. That's kind of like a third project for me. It's not even in my it was just a fun thing to do, because like we had talked about, you find these like side projects to do in your collection when it kind of gets stagnant. So you're like, oh, I'll do something else. I'll put together the 2005 White Sox, whatever it is. You find something and you kind of want to complete it and not abandon it. But man, these prices are really making me think twice about, should I just sell them all off and buy something really cool that is in my bread basket. So.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, if something does come up, and that's been happening to a lot of us lately, because my side projects, I got an amazing. I shared that with you the other day, Greg. That glass now that I picked up, and I have to see that card and think, okay, I'm going to have to try to move something in order to get it. Like, what happens when that big time Frank or that salmon yellow or not yellow, because you have that? I feel like you have it. No, you don't. I can't remember. But anyway, whatever salmon you're chasing goes up for a huge amount. And you're like, well, I could sell this set to make sure I get that, like I think with the way the market is right now, that we're having to contemplate moving cards for the first time. Like I spent a lot of time putting those Ichos together, but I saw how much some of those are selling for now. And I'm like, oh man, like if A-Rod is such a credentials or, something else bigger pops up, maybe I
was talking to Alan. It's really almost compromised. It's a devil on your shoulder because you're really starting to see who are like passionate player collectors and who are people that are falling to the dark side and like, I'll just sell. Yeah. So, because we've seen a few people selling off their collections in our group. Yeah. People that are like, I'm out. Like, I'm getting rid of everything. We've seen, I think, Piazza and McGuire, Ripken. Yeah. Like, those are like legit collections, and people are like bouncing. So I think everybody has a price. So I think for a lot of people, it's getting to that point where they're like, it doesn't make sense to keep these cards for the amount of money that I can get from them. And I think basketball collectors had that a few years back, and somewhat now too. So it's really testing people's faith, I think, with their collections.
What do you think, Alan? I mean, chime in on this, man.
I mean, I just think it's changing behaviors, right? So everybody I know in the hobby has done something different during this time as a result of the prices. I didn't even realize this, but my side PCs, those guys have become a lot more robust. I've gotten a lot more cards of those guys without even realizing it. I didn't make a decision in my head. I'm like, all right, Bonds is too crazy. Let me go find somebody else who's not quite as crazy. It just sort of happened, and before I realized it, I had a whole bunch of more Manny Ramirez's. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I love the cards I have, but it's definitely changed things. One of the big things that I would tell you guys about is that I made a major purchase recently outside of 90s. I went somewhere where I thought prices hadn't gone insane yet. So I bought a vintage card, a really big one. And so I'm really excited about that. When I'm ready to show it, I will show it off, but it probably won't be here in this forum. But for the time being, I'm right where you are, Matt. Like if a huge Bonds were to come up right now, I would not be in a position to grab it unless I were to sell something else. So that's not something I'm accustomed to. I've sold Bonds, but I haven't really sold stuff out of my PC ever. Like I've sold duplicates, but
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you bought cards. I mean, you've told me that you bought cards that you like, but with the intent that if something really big does come up, that you have those, nuggets to move in order to get you what you really want, and I think that's good in a sense of thinking ahead. The Ichiro collection, I think in a sense kind of is that, minus a couple of my favorites. I did buy a few to like never get rid of, but I think that's something that some people hopefully started doing. I mean, we all have somebody that we know that's been doing that for years, and they're in a position to buy anything they want now. So not my style really, but I get it with the way the market is now. It makes you, like Greg said, it makes you consider like, maybe I should think about this. That's why I have my Metal Universe set up on eBay for really, really expensive, because maybe somebody's going to come along and be like, hey, I'll pay that. And now I'm like, great. Now if that A-Rod pops up, I don't have to think about it. I just, boom, So 2 years ago, I would have never even considered it. So,
yeah, we're approaching those prices to where you might have to sell off something to buy something else because the prices they're going up right now. That's not to say they'll always be this. Something could happen where they get kind of regulated, but right now it's something that we have to anticipate and plan for because there's no telling when they'll go down, if they'll always be increasing. Like it's an unknown right now. So it's
I was telling. Go ahead. No, I was just telling Greg the other day that for those of you who collect vintage, you may or may not be aware, but in 2016 there was like a consortium of deep-pocketed collectors who went after all of the big vintage cards that everybody knows of the famous players: Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, in PSA 6, 7, 8, 9s, and 10s. And what ended up happening is within 1 year, prices went up about, I don't know, anywhere between 4 to 7-fold overnight, basically. and it was an insane year. This is before I was in the hobby, but I read about it as I was preparing to get into vintage. And the next year, the bottom dropped out because they pumped and dumped, and so they got rid of the cards at the prices they wanted to get rid of, and the prices they tanked, but not so far that it wasn't a higher floor. So like if a card was $3,000 in 2016, it went up to 15. And then in 2017, it went back down to like $4,500. And so I just wonder how much of these cards that we're trying to go after right now is going to show that kind of pattern where it spikes 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and then comes back down. It's just more affordable, but more expensive than it was, in 2019.
Hey, it looks like significant inserts and Alan have talked, because Alan is like the doomsday prepper with the Simon, and like the end is near. You
agree with me, huh?
I mean, I don't know if I agree, because I can't disagree either. I don't know, like who knows the way the market's going. I mean, you would think a volatile market has, just like Project 2020, but this has been like spread out over a year, Project 2020, and within 4 or 5 days peaked and then went absolutely, it's like bottomed out below what it started at, and I have to say though, I mean, to kind of counter that, the reason I collect Jocelyn Tebow and goalies and Tyler Glass now is because they're cheap and they're fun to collect. There's plenty to chase in modern and vintage, but 90s hockey, there's plenty to chase. So that kind of keeps that like itch, keeps the itch for me going, without getting too paranoid about prices. Because I'm like Greg was last year when you were like, I'm down to like a few salmon cards. That's all I got left. Now it kind of takes the pressure off of those being the only things I'm going to buy for A-Rod, and being able to chase some other tiny small pieces. I mean, isn't that kind of part of the reason you chase modern White Sox stuff here and there, Greg, to kind of help with that?
Yeah. I have those to kind of like give me something. It's like the side project, it's just to have cards to come in that you can appreciate, because it's kind of, when you don't have anything to look forward to, you're kind of
right.
Nothing's in the mail, nothing's coming. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do with my life? Like,
that's funny.
Am I supposed to just go outside and look at nature? Like, what cards are coming for me, So you always really want like a card or two, like to look forward to, even if it's something small, even if it's like a Tim Anderson refractor for $5, just something to look forward to. So I think that I do that, and I'll buy something just because I'm bored, or I try not to make too many crazy purchases, because when you're bored, idle hands are the devil's workshop, So I try not to get anything too crazy.
Maybe you could do that, Greg.
Definitely better. But like you were saying, you don't have many A-Rods to get. I don't have many salmon to get. But the problem now is when they do pop up, they're like 5 times the price. So it's like, well, this rare A-Rod or this rare salmon that I need suddenly is going to hurt my wallet quite a bit. And that was one of the main reasons I collect. Like, Frank Thomas is my favorite player, but he's not my main PC. And the reason was because his cards were just too expensive for me. Like, I just couldn't do it. And especially now. But now salmon's even going up. So it's like, well, it's kind of not great for me, because that's one of the fun parts of getting salmon is like, you would get the bonds and you would get the A-Rod, and it'd be like $200 cards, and I'd get the salmon for $20.
Right.
And I was like, this is awesome. I got my guy, and for a fraction of the price. But now the salmon's like $100, and the bonds is like $400, and the A-Rod's $400. So it's like, it just sucks. But I'm just glad I kind of got my guy when I did, because now the things that I'm looking for, I understand that I'm going to have to pay a premium for it, but the amount that pop up aren't that much. So it's a little easier to swallow when I know I have like one card every 3 months versus like 6 cards a week,
Yeah. Right. Well, and that's why, I mean, to go to you, Alan, that's, I've said this to you many times, appreciate the little bonds cards, and appreciate the, the $5 and $10 ones, because for bonds, I mean, we've talked about this so much, is he doesn't have a ceiling right now. I mean, when a base refractor sells for $200+, that's something crazy is going on. And so, sometimes it is like Greg's saying, it's nice to have cards coming in, and you have to kind of appreciate the little guys in between the really big purchases. Because if you're always chasing just the ceiling cards, you're set up for disappointment in this market, man, because it's just going to crush your soul, which we saw in person, and it was awful, but it's the truth. So.
Yeah, it is the truth. I have a list. I have a very, very concentrated list now for somebody who's still a pretty new collector. I've knocked off quite a few on that list. So if something comes up right now, unfortunately, I think I really have to go for it. I have to move a lot of stuff in order for that to happen. Right. So, you did mention that I do have cards to move for bonds, but that's kind of like a situation where you hope to meet a collector who really loves that player.
Yeah, that's true.
Value that card, and therefore will send you a bonds that they normally wouldn't get rid of for just a dollar amount. That's the idea. But then you basically have to buy every player, right? Because you don't know who you're going to run into. Right?
Yeah, that's a perfect world right there. I mean, it does happen in the group every now and then, but it definitely is. There's more people than ever after these 90s guys, which makes sense. I mean, it makes sense why the prices are so high. I think there's a steal to be had every now and then because more people listing cards equals, like, oh yeah, that picture sucks and that listing makes no sense, so I'm going to get this for a good deal, which happens still. But yeah, I know it's really tough, like you're saying, Greg. I mean, thank goodness we all have kind of little side projects, because if I wasn't collecting Tyler Glasnow or I didn't find my passion for hockey again, man, I'd be overpaying in a sense for Alex Rodriguez cards just to get a card coming to me, So I'm glad that I don't do that.
Alan and I were joking. I kind of made a joke about like taking pictures for people for eBay, and I feel like I may be able to single-handedly raise 90s cards if I take good pictures for eBay.
Probably, yeah.
Because I spent I want my pictures to be. I got the new iPhone, and so my pictures, I work on them to get them just like perfect. And you see a lot of this eBay stuff where it's like they like moving the card while they're taking a picture, and it's like a blur, and like mirror gold, and you're like, that is a horrible picture.
Yeah,
I mean, but it goes to your advantage, if you're looking for that card and the bad picture plus the bad title. I mean, I remember seeing a Jeter lot of SP rookies. It was like 8 of them. 3 of them were graded and 5 were ungraded, and it just said Derek Jeter in lowercase, and the picture was terrible. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to get a killing on this. And I think it went for, a decent amount, but now that person has probably made double or triple whatever that auction ended for. So it happens, It definitely
happens. Missed opportunity. I spoke to a friend recently just based on a conversation that I had with Greg about the iPhone 11. This is an ad for that phone. I don't know what it is. Those pictures are absolutely incredible. There's nothing like that on eBay. If the pictures look like that on eBay, people could actually swing much, much higher asking prices, I think, just because you just don't know what they look like. There's some cards that you just have to see for yourself, like the mirror gold, for example.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at one of my comments early on in our main 90s group, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was poo-pooing that card. I was like, you know what? Like, I know I'm an individual here, and I really don't think the mirror gold is anything that great. Like, I've seen pictures of it, and it's just not all that. So that's how I know I'm still a pure collector. I'm not just going for all the big cards that everybody else wants. Of course, fast forward 8 months later, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like a top 3 card in my whole collection, just because I've seen it. Had I seen a scan, similar to the one that Greg had put up of Barry Sanders, I think I hopped on that bandwagon a lot sooner. Been a lot more panicked about that card.
No, I got to give you a big shout out, Greg. Go ahead, Greg.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna. You can put your. I don't know. Like really feel good about yourself here, because like your pictures, I get really frustrated with the photo box, because like even a card like this, the prize collection, which will shine with no light on it, if you don't get the right angle on the photo box, because the light's coming from straight above, it just doesn't hit it right. But if I sit here, I mean, I've posted cards holding them in my hand like this with the light coming in, and it's perfect. Yeah. So you definitely have found the place in your house that works perfect, and it really, like, it's definitely shown me some cards. I'm like, okay, you know what, that card really is better than I thought it was. Like, okay, yeah, he's right. And then you get it in hand, you're like, holy crap, look at that, So it's nice that somebody takes the time to do that. I mean, I get really finicky with my light box pictures, man. I'll take it from like different angles and like lean and stuff, just to try to, and it's tough. So, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to replicate that level of picture quality at all. Like, try as I might, it's really hard. I mean, I keep referring people back to your one video on this channel where you show off the prize collections. I don't know how you got the light so perfect in that particular video, but
my kitchen is perfect, man.
I've never seen that card so good before. It was great.
They're big. They're the big lights, like the big long tube lights, and they're LED, and they're up in my kitchen has some of those that were installed up there. So
okay,
I don't know, man. It was funny. I just filmed there one day just to try it out with my phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like 10 times better than my crappy iPad,
Spectacular.
And you know how it was, Greg? Like the first time you took a picture from that location where you get them just right, you're like, whoa, holy smokes.
Yep.
Like the light comes in perfectly in my bathroom, but you have to be sitting on the toilet. So every time I'm going
Don't even tell me that.
Are you serious? 100%?
No.
Because I was gonna say, because I could just picture so many different things at that time.
So every time I have a good
Don't
cup
show
of
me
coffee,
any of your pictures anymore, man. I don't want to see them.
Check the reflection, Greg. Make sure you're not like in the background, like hunched over.
I got,
Oh,
like, paper in my hand and a picture.
Oh man, there's an image I'm not getting out of my head the rest of the night.
But
man.
in terms of what Alan was saying, he was buying some other people to collect. I think we're kind of shifting where it was just like a big percentage of like player collectors and set collectors, where now we have like investors and people who are viewing these as like smart investments. So I think Alan, you having like a high grade or a rare Manny Ramirez may equal a trade for bonds because people are viewing these as like investment pieces now. So it could theoretically net you a Barry Bonds, whereas 2 years ago it was more of a player collector kind of thing.
Right.
That's a great point. I think you're right. And slabs have something to do with it. People see cards that are in slabs as investment pieces. Yeah. So for better or for worse, you want to get those cards into slabs and turn them into the cards you really, really want.
I can't say how many auctions I see of like even Tyler Glass now that are listed. What do you think the very last word in the auction says? I know you guys have seen these.
Top 3.
PSA 10 ? And then the last word is invest all the time now. I've never seen that on A-Rod, Tebow, Glass now, nobody until now. Like except maybe Tebow, everybody. All the guys I look for, invest. Duncan Robinson, invest. I'm like, Chimney. That's where we're at now. It's that's I guess a negative aspect to some, but I like what you guys said too. There's a good aspect where you can use it to get something else that you really want.
Yeah, especially right now.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys the story? I can't remember if I did on camera, but I have a friend from way back who bought a huge card. Did I talk about this already?
Was it the Joe Montana
that
you were talking about?
That is the Michael Jordan rookie card.
Oh, jeez.
9. One of my friends who does not collect sports cards, doesn't know anything about it. When they were our age, when we were 10 years old back in the 80s and 90s, maybe he collected cards just like the rest of us. But it's been 25, 30 something odd years. And they couldn't be more bored when I showed them my cards. And suddenly, just like 2 months ago, they went out and bought a BGS 9 or 8.5 Jordan Fleer rookie card from 1986 for $9,000. Just randomly. Somebody came to the market and the first card they bought was that card for $9,000. And that, in a nutshell, is why we are where we are right now, I think. And that's why invest is such a big word. Because if you have people who don't know what they're doing showing up on eBay looking to invest, I mean, what else are you gonna put in your listing for that?
Right.
Yeah, well, I would say that Project 2020 is that whole picture in a nutshell, because that was just a cluster word. I'm not going to say all that was, and I was victim of it, and a lot of people were, and it really taught me a lot about being careful and just learning about a market, because I think that's why I can't approach this hobby with that word, with the invest in mind. I love my collection. I know you guys both love your cards, and yeah, I guess in the long term you could say, well, if an emergency happened and I'm in the hospital, I know that I'm okay if I have to sell off my A-Rod collection, but I never want to, you know. It took too much time to put it together. I mean, can you imagine Greg selling all of his Tim Salmons? I think I'd cry. I'd actually probably sit in my bed, cry myself to sleep, because it's taken him twice as long to get some of those cards that nobody ever wants to list, because who's going to list Tim Salmon, right? So I think, yeah, I mean, can you imagine having to come to that, Greg? That would just crush your soul, man.
It's hard for me to wrap my mind around selling everything now and then finding it to buy it back later. I just don't have, I don't know that I have the energy to do that. With as much like turmoil and like waiting out each day of an auction, like all of that, just wait, like just the time that I put in. I don't have the energy to do it again for the same collection. It's different if I'm collecting somebody else because it's something new that I've never experienced, but I don't know if I could have the same experience for salmon if I had to do it all over again. Man,
I was nervous during the Crusade Red. Like I remember feeling my heart beating through my chest when that thing was hitting. I'm like, oh my gosh, is he gonna get it? And like, can't imagine how it was for you, dude. Like,
yeah, I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, did I miss it? Did I miss the auction?
Oh man, yeah, I definitely had that a little bit. You know, I was I showed it off in one of our groups, the red glass now, you know, the finest flashbacks, and I thought I'd lost it because I messaged the seller. I'm like, yo, I really really want this card, man. Other than the super, this is the only one I need, and he took it down before messaging me back to say, okay, sure, I'm going to relist it, just offer whatever, you know, offer the amount you said. But for that 2 minutes where the auction was down and I didn't get a message, I was just like, no, you know, like, so to go through that again with like A-Rod or bonds or salmon, oh my gosh, I nowadays with this market, I don't think I could do it. I think I'd just be like, all right, I'm out.
And yet, I talked to Greg about this. I'm the devil on his shoulder saying, have you ever considered liquidating salmon right now, because you will never get more money for your collection ever in history probably than right now. This is you wanted to turn that into money and redistribute it towards Frank Thomas or Barry Sanders, or come back and buy Tim Salmon, you know, in a fantasy in a couple of years at half the price. Now is the time to do it. That is why all of these player collectors have cut bait and left, is that they made the same calculus in their mind.
I like this comment. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The agony.
No, I mean, I want to hear what you have to say, Greg. Would you even consider it?
No, I don't.
What if somebody offered $1 million for the whole thing right now? $1 million for salmon, the whole collection. Would you take it?
I would take $1 million.
Okay, that's what I thought.
but I said that earlier. Everybody has a price. It's the DiBiase $1 Million Man. Everybody has a price. So, you know, you offer me something stupid and I'm going to take it. But if you offer me fair market value, I'll pass because it's my emotion and my energy and my time is invested, and that's way more than the fair market value. So I couldn't do it. Even if I needed the money, I would probably like just crawl to my mom or something. You know, I don't think I would sell my collection. It's just I would be devastated to have to do this all over again. And like I said, it's different for a different player because that's a whole new experience, and that's me willingly going into something new. But to do what I had to do all over again, I don't think I could do it.
I mean, you're paying
with the exception of $1 million. You know, you offer me $2 million for my Tim Salmon cards, you can have them.
I had to show that comment. Sorry, Greg. Oh man,
it's a hard decision though, is because Tim Salmon is 5 times now what it was just a couple of years ago, right? I mean, so fair market value is 5 times what it was just a few years ago. So at that point, you're coming close to it. We don't know where your sellout point is, but we're closer now to the sellout point a lot closer now to it than we were before.
I don't know. I would say my selling point is more on the absurd level than it is fair market value multiplier.
Yeah, you take $100,000 probably.
It would take something crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm with you guys. I mean, price cannot outweigh the amount of. Think about the enjoyment that you had of picking up all those cards. Think about the time and energy and effort you had to put into searching eBay over and over till it finally pops up and you're the first one to see it, first one to buy it. Whew, that was awesome. To have to do that again with, I don't know, what's your salmon count up to now? 800?
About 850.
I'm sitting at anywhere from 1,100 to 1,200 unique. I mean, I can't imagine having to find all that again. There's just, I mean, it's staggering to even think about.
Going back, like I would not have that same amount of salmon. Because I've got a lot of base cards and lower end. I would probably forego those if I had to redo this. It would be more like I've got 40 very, very good salmon cards, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would go through what I did and that was just an experience. You got to know the experience to see if it's something for you or not. And going back, if I had to do this for some reason, I probably would skip all the base and all the middle, like the lower end for salmon, not for a different player because that's maybe something
new.
Yeah. But I wouldn't go back to do that. I would just get like 40 or 50 salmon that I really enjoyed, and that would probably be it if I had to do this all over again.
Well, Alan, we just talked about this. We know somebody that sold out his entire collection to help pay off the rest of his house so he could sell his house, and now he's back doing exactly what Greg said. He's like, he told me he had picked out a handful, 25 to 50 that I want to get again. Yeah. And I will slowly get those, but I'm going. I mean, he had a massive collection. Green who we're talking about, Greg? Ripken collector.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know who it is. So I think that right there is just, having to make that decision. I was more interested talking to him about the psychology behind it. Like, okay, what did you go through when you knew you had to do these? Like, well, I knew I was going to make a massive amount on selling the house, so I had to look at priorities, and I knew I could go get the Ripkins because I don't know if you guys look, but his cards seem to pop up. Quantum Leap, you get one every 6 months of him that pops up for some reason because people are just like flipping. I guess if I collected a guy like that, not Tim Salmon, I might consider it if I had to do it. But even A-Rod, we've talked about this. His stuff doesn't pop up. The real big stuff just doesn't pop up as often as other guys. So I can't imagine doing it. Like Bonds, Alan, he's always got big cards out there, man. You just have to pay the prices now.
That's the thing about A-Rod and Bonds. We haven't been put to the test because I still think that we're not paying as much for these cards as we could be paying. Let's just put it that way. So It's not at a point where we know this is likely to be one of the highest points that these cards are ever going to be worth. It's possible that we're not even like a quarter of the way there. So this is why I was telling Greg, I was like, I'm not put to the same actual like test about whether, how much these things mean to me. Because if it were true that I was 90% sure that these were as high as they were going to get, then it was like 5 times as much as it was 2 years ago, I'd really have to think about it. I don't know what my answer would be, but there would be some cards that wouldn't move, like 24 karat. There's a huge story behind that. That particular card is pretty irreplaceable. I mean, I guess you could sell it and then try to buy it back someday in the future, but it would just be on your mind. And if you guys know anything about me, if I don't buy a card that I really want, it will haunt me for like a year and a half. Like it will haunt my dream. And every purchase I make sits. So that's probably not the best thing for me to do. I don't know about every collector, but not.
Well, sometimes lessons are just painful, man. Sometimes lessons are really painful. We wore that with you, dude, because I think a part of me every now and then when we talk, I comes back and I'm just like, learn from that lesson. And the card I sent to you, Greg, I really had to consider that because he had relisted it for that price that I told you. And I'm like, if I offer 80 and I don't win this card, I'm really going to kick myself. I really am. So I was just like, $20 extra, you have to just, for those types of cards, you don't mess around. And thanks for teaching me that lesson, Alan. Sorry, man. But I mean, now you know.
I told Alan, like, I still occasionally like feel bad about that because we were the one telling him that's an insane price to pay. Don't do it. Everybody was telling him, and it ended up in the long run not so bad now. But nobody could have foreseen that. So.
Nobody could have foreseen that. If Vegas Dave could pay 8 times the amount he should have paid for the Mike Trout that he paid for, right? The super fractor.
Right. I mean,
1,004. He got just laughed out of the room. I mean, if you can pick that big of a mistake and come back and make $3 million on that card, Yeah, there's no way anybody could have predicted this. Impossible.
I had to make sure to show that too. That's
it's become the iconic card. They're just surprised you don't have a Ted DiBiase card right now to back it up.
No, I don't.
I do want to say that if you ever move to a different house, or like you make a man cave, or build that room into some kind of display for your collection, if that card is not like front and center on the main shelf, I'm going to be disappointed. That's all I'm saying. And like a really nice thick, one of those huge thick 4 screw downs, like, you know.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
I don't know if you can see. That's Roddy Piper and Bret Hart, but no Ted DiBiase.
Not yet, you mean? Not yet.
It was hard for me to be on a $1 million man train, but he was a good wrestler, I guess.
Yeah. We're talking about wrestling on this podcast, man. It can go anywhere. Can go anywhere. Have you got? Go ahead.
In Survivor Series from '87 in WrestleMania 4, and Ted DiBiase was like, they had a big promo for Ted DiBiase, and he was like trying to get this little kid to dribble a basketball 15 times, and the kid got to 14, and Ted DiBiase kicked the ball away, and I was like, oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh. Those personalities were something else back in those days when we were all kids, man. It was, I remember seeing them on TV at my grandma's and being like, geez, they all had this like aura about them, you know. They were very just strange characters. And when you're a kid, you don't realize that that's a person like us just playing someone else, you know.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
I actually read that $1 Million Man, they actually gave him like first class seats, first class hotel rooms, and they gave him petty cash to, like, when he went to restaurants, he would pick up people's tabs and like throw them like crazy amounts for like packs of gum, because they wanted that character to be more than just a wrestling thing. So he actually did that like on his off time. He was given money. He was given like $100 for a pack of gum. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Wow. And brilliant marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the 7-year-old brain, like there's.
Go ahead.
Vince McMahon told Ted DiBiase, if he was ever a wrestler, the $1 Million Man would be Vince McMahon's character. So that's how he like sold him on it. He was like, look, I want you to be this character that I would be if I was a wrestler. And Ted DiBiase was like, I'll do it.
Wow. That's something else, man. Didn't know that. Yeah, I mean that's a sport that I never really followed, but I once The Rock became popular, he would do interviews and talk about how it was all scripted out and how they would get everything figured out behind the scenes. I mean, there's a lot of work put into what those guys did when they went out to perform, and like Ric Flair, I mean, everybody else to that is like, for him to keep that level of energy every time he was in front of people just blows my mind, you know, like it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. The Grand Slam collectibles, they're like a modern breaker out in my hometown, like Murfreesboro. When they would get like a big card, they would play a Ric Flair video every single big card they pulled. The guy would like take a shot, and he would play the Ric Flair video for each big card he pulled. And then they actually got Ric Flair to come to the store and do a signing.
Really?
Pretty cool.
Did they get him to do the whoa really loud just one time, or is his voice like shot?
Yeah, I don't know. It might cost a little extra.
Right, exactly. Crazy, man. Well, do you guys want to show off some cards? I mean, that we've got lately. Yeah. I mean, I got mostly modern and a couple of A-Rods. The A-Rods are few and far between nowadays. But like I said, I showed off the red, or I talked about the red, so I was able to get all but one of the rainbows. So I'm only the super fractor away from this finest flashback set. So I'm really hoping that it comes. And of course,
really cool.
Oh yeah, dude, they did a good job with these. I mean, Greg, I talked about this with you before, is like for them to bring back this set. This was never a set that was on my radar as a kid, even because it was so expensive and A-Rod wasn't in it. But I really like that they're doing this. This is one of the one throwback sets that I think that really just was perfect.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah, they nailed
I like
it.
Those and the man that they redid.
Yeah.
Finest the Man Refractors. And then they did the 96 rookie call-ups that like Jeter and Garcia Parra.
Oh, right.
I'll show you. I've got the Garcia Parra. I'll show you.
Oh, that answers that question. I was wondering if you were still grabbing Nomar every now and then.
Well, I don't really, but it's the blue chips. They did the modern.
Oh, nice. And they used the 90s picture on it even. That's awesome.
Well, this is the actual 90s.
Oh.
I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying they did like Acuna and.
Oh, okay.
So it looks basically like this, but it's got just the newer guys, and I think they even did autographs as well.
Cool. Well, I mean, that gives them the idea or the opportunity to do a lot, to bring some of those back over and over again. Like, oh, man.
Uh-oh.
No, keep talking. I just want to put cards up while you guys are speaking.
How you're gonna do the Nate, dude. That's what I love about Nate when he's on here. Cards just like appear in the camera. I love it. What's up, Nate? I know you're watching, dude.
This is the 1997 Flair Legacy Rose Zero. I have never seen this card in person before. I know that it's a big deal in our group of people. I definitely want to get the bonds, but because I couldn't get the bonds, we talked about this. I got another player I really liked from the era, and hopefully someday it'll bring me closer to the bonds.
Hey,
Here we go. Paul O'Neill, huh?
Yeah.
Paul, I'm gonna need you to hit 2 home runs for this kid tonight in your game.
Is that a slab I see?
One's bad enough. Where'd you get
Yeah.
to? Like, I guess I did overdo it.
Dude.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome.
I love
Oh,
that.
and let me show right my Rose Zero. Oh wait, no, I don't have one. Sorry, can't show it.
You just have to buy another player. You just have to throw in the towel like I did.
I do have a Rose Zero, but it's from '98. Does that count?
Get you a Rico Bronia.
I was thinking that or Mickey Tettleton. Either one. I mean, I'll settle for whatever one I can get. But no, I mean, since you guys showed a Rose Zero, I should show the legit Rose Zero. Thanks to none other than Alan. He sent me the pack pulled version. We did a little bit of a trade, which worked out great. And I had the Rose Zero before I ever met you guys, and I had no idea that it was backdoored. And there it is.
Backdoor
There
version.
it is.
Right
Now,
Very nice.
the fake numbering right here, how can you tell that it's fake? Because there's no blue up here, right?
Yeah. And then the serial number is in the wrong spot.
Right.
Serial number's in the wrong spot. We should be here.
Like this, Alan. See?
Oh, by the legs, yeah. Okay.
And
And the numbering's
O.
different. Like if you're Rodney and you look at any of his, posts on Blowout or in the group, the numbering's slightly different too, like the actual shape of the 4.
Mhm.
Well, you'll notice the O, like Matt, your O of is actually an
Right.
O, and Alan's is a 0.
See if I can get it to
Interesting.
focus in.
Yeah, right.
All right, hold on. I'll get it. I'll get it to grab.
Yeah, see
There it
how
is.
it's a wide O.
And then Alan, you got yours. Yeah, look, it's a 0.
Yeah.
Jeez. How can you make that mistake, dude? Like, if just leave the card blank. You know what I mean? That's what I was talking when we were talking with Jean, and I had talked to her beforehand. I asked her if she knew about how many of these were out there, and she goes, "Yeah, it shouldn't have happened, and B, they should have just left it blank, because then it gives you that idea that that card was sitting in the factory in a stack, and then it got thrown out. Like, why even try to mimic? That's one of the dumbest things, man. Whatever. Anyway, I'm over
I
it.
know. I mean, Matt and I were complaining about that. We were saying we would value the one that was unstamped more than the one that had a counterfeit stamp on there. And I asked Joe Greca because I don't like this counterfeit stuff. I have now the A-Rod and also a Vladimir Guerrero that I'm going to be looking to move to either sell or to trade because I don't personally like it. But I asked Joe what he thought in terms of the value compared to the legit pack released one. And surprisingly, he said it sells for about 70% of the legit one, which is shocking to me. The reason I took on a card that I'm not as excited about is because Matt hooked me up with a card that I need for my PC. This is the you guys all noticed now it's the price collection, and it's graded. So Matt didn't appreciate it as much as somebody like me who just absolutely loves the slab. So that was a great trade. Thanks so much, Matt.
Yeah, and it was nice that he sent me the ungraded version. I mean, Greg, I think you and I are from the same same bunch that would prefer to put it in the magnetic and have it not in the slab.
Yeah.
And so I think it just worked out great. And, as far as the refractor line, it shows up, but it really doesn't it's not one of those things like the first thing I notice. When I pull this out and look at it, it doesn't like immediately stand out. So in my mind, a lot of them had it, and it doesn't bother me. And both people are happy.
Hard to find some without. But going back to the 98 Flair, I would personally prefer them not to be stamped at all, so that it's like in its original authenticity versus somebody like doing something, altering a card. I don't really care for that.
Right.
Not just altering a card, but altering it to pass it off as something that it's not, right?
Yeah.
And that's the worst part of it. If you're trying to sell it as if it came out of a pack, that just seems, it just, leaves a weird feeling.
Yeah.
But you were saying, this set got plagued by refractor lines, right? I mean, so many additions to this set. So I picked this up, to eventually get a bonds out of it. But there it is, the Griffey. It's PSA 9, but you can see the refractor line there. From certain angles, it's not really apparent, but from other ones, it's super apparent. So it really depends. Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, that card, they're just such good looking cards, man. I mean, I still think the other prize collection, the Power, I believe is what they're called. Not Power. Those are the Power.
Right.
Which one am I thinking of?
The Grandstand / Steel Box.
Those. Yeah. The Grandstand, the one that's right in front of me on my desk. It's my own one of two cards on my desk in front of me. But I think the shine on them it's top 5 of all. Yeah, top 5 of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
Those are nice.
It's up there, man. I mean, yeah.
I was able to grab the salmon in the Great Prize Collection Escapade of 2020.
Yeah, so is that what we're going to call that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty impressive that you didn't have it, because it goes to show that for all these years prior, since we've known you and before, that none have ever showed up. And it just goes to show, man, like how much tougher it is to collect a guy that's kind of not as well known. And I go through that with Tebow. I think there's 5 Jocelyn Tebow cards listed a day if I'm lucky, and most of them are base cards, so I can show it on the next podcast when we meet. But I had my number, like top 3 wants of Tebow, and 2 of them I picked up within 3 days of each other, and I couldn't believe it, man. One was like a $6 card, and the other one, I don't even want to give you guys a hint because it's disgusting, but I just, that's how it must be. Is that that with salmon? Sometimes you'll see like 3 or 4 pop up in a week that you've been looking for, and then nothing.
What'll happen is usually I'll get like a gut feeling something's about to happen, and then
Spidey tingle.
Within like a day, like the Stadium Club first day issue refractor, I was like, something's gonna happen. I was like, something's gonna happen to me. I can feel it. And then it popped up, and I was like, that was it. I got this one recently. Oops. This is the numbered out at 25. And so it came in an SGC case. It was a 9.5, but as you can see, I popped it.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize it until afterwards, but the SGC are basically held together by peanut butter. So it was super easy to pop out, and I'm just not a big fan of SGC. So, and then I thought this card caused me to purchase this card. And this is the Elvis Gerbach version.
Elvis Gerbach.
I didn't know he played baseball too.
Yeah, he did. He played for the Angels, and he hit 299 home runs.
One short. If he'd have played baseball only, maybe he hit 300. Darn it.
And so it's the 101. I don't know if an actual one of these exists. I'm sure it does. I just haven't done the research. I've been too lazy to do it. But it caused me to make that.
That's a pretty cool card. I mean, I remember talking to you about that one. And if anybody here is watching and has their PC player in a 1-of-1 that is in an error, but also has an error card just like that, or knows somebody with that situation, that would be great, because then it would prove that they made a correction and that there is actually a 1 out there. It's also possible that is the 1-of-1 and they just totally screwed it up.
Yeah. Right. Well, there's 3. There's class 1, class 2, and class 3. So there's a 1-of-1 of each class. So it's possible that is the 1 of 1. I don't know.
Kind of interesting to think about because that was the first thing I think we both asked you when we saw that. Oh yeah, baby. What class is that, Alan? That looks amazing.
This is a class 3 because it's out of 100, and you can't really see the stamp out here. Is this the gold label 90?
That's the 99.
The 99 is not as great because the lettering is just gold here instead of like super glittery. I like the 98 more, but I was never a big fan of this set. But now that I have this in hand, my first gold label, or red label, I mean, and it's actually I'm taking to it. That's pretty cool.
They've got that like extravagant shine to them, kind of like prize collection ish. It's very, very colorful. I really like the 98 and the 99.
Yeah, it's growing on me. It's a dark shine, so you really got to blast it with light. But if you can manage it, then it's worth your while.
Well, to hop on the, I had to run out and grab it because I hadn't remember if I'd showed it or not. But to hop on the gold label train, I have to show the chase to Aaron A-Rod. This is a pretty exciting one. I was hesitant to buy it because, as you know, the 99s don't have the label on the back. So I got it for a really good price. I couldn't pass that one up. I was really happy to grab that.
I like how they gave Aaron a mustache.
With the bat. That's awesome. Yeah, I know. It looks like he's picking his nose for him, huh? Well, you mentioned the SGC thing, Greg, and I've had this. I haven't shown it off because it's been sitting in the case and I've been waiting to pop it out. But you're saying that this thing is going to come out of here really easy, right?
Yeah, I think if you like turn it upside down, the card will just fall out.
So I just go like that. It's just.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
So I took the the label on it where it says Alex Rodriguez or whatever.
Yeah.
Took it out of the salmon and it's actually got double-sided tape on it.
That's how the label is affixed to the slab is double-sided Scotch tape. So I was saying it's held together by Scotch tape and bubble gum minus the bubble gum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, happy to have this, but I've been worried about. I've been like stressing about popping it because it's this card never shows up despite being out of 496. So I've just kind of waiting, but now I'm going to go do it as soon as we're done.
Oh, I keep it in there, but that's how I roll.
Exactly. Alan is clinching up right now as we speak as we're talking about popping cases.
No, you guys hate the slab so much that you're willing to destroy the card potentially, right? Because there's the one
never happened
chance. So
won't happen.
I feel like it could be
I'll say BGS and PSA takes a little work to get them out, but SGC, I breathed heavy on the car and it popped out.
I think there was another grading service out there, one of those really cheap ones, and that was one of my first graded cards I ever bought. It was like an atomic refractor of A-Rod. I almost damaged it because I barely pulled on it and it went like flying. I was like, holy smokes. Some of those literally are just like snapped together and you could just, sad, man. Alan?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Show off the 1999 Black Diamond Final Cut. This is Vlad, one of my side PC guys. I think I got this one off Joe. And it is out of 100. Right here, as you can see. I think these are super underrated cards. They're so beautiful. The reciprocal is unnumbered. It's also, I think it's die cut, but it doesn't have the golden sheen. This is by Manny Ramirez. I actually love this. I've been trying to track down the bonds. I found somebody actually who has another one, but I haven't been able to get it yet from him. So I just have to make do with two side PC guys. But I highly recommend anyone who doesn't have this set to just go out and get it. I feel like they're underrated, underappreciated.
Those are really nice, man.
They definitely look good. I'd at least pay $3 for that.
You know what? I'll give you two. Well, hey, Greg, you and I have chatted about this too. I mean, because you've got, you go after Barry a little bit, Sanders cards, and I was kind of talking with Alan not too long ago about, okay, which sport does the relics correctly? And I gotta say, dude, with hockey, I think they've got it on lockdown, dude. Because come on now, isn't that just like one of the coolest cards? You got the game used goalie stick. It's super thick, so you got the big chunk of the paddle from his stick in there. Yeah, this
it's awesome.
Dude, come on now. I think hockey has it right.
Hockey wins on material.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure, dude. For
It's just
sure.
fun to work with.
I wonder if they with football they'll ever do like a Barry Sanders, like all the padding, all the pads they were under. They should just like, oh yeah, there's like some pads Barry gave us that he never used. Start chopping them up and sticking them in cards and stuff, cleats and whatnot. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I think the WWF, they have the girl cards, and the girls like kiss them with lipstick, and then they put them in the.
They gotta start doing the baseball players a Barry Bonds lip relic,
Yeah. Lip gloss card.
Horrible. Horrifying. Worst
Oh
idea.
my gosh. Holy moly, dude. That's crazy. Have you guys there we go. Thank you. I was hoping that we was gonna show that.
Yeah, this is a major PC get for me. This is the
gold
1997
looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
bird. I mean, I was all sad about the fact that Bonds didn't make the cut for platinum because I guess they thought only the superstar players deserve platinum. That's why I went after the A-Rod. But I've really, really begun to appreciate the gold. It's actually a beautiful card, and even though these are out of 100 and 98 is out of 50, I think I actually like the design of this better. I
do too.
More classic to me.
Yeah, I like that design the best of all the precious metals.
And then
one day, Alan.
I got this before the Bonds, so that's my excuse for having this is because I couldn't get the Bonds. Then of course the Bonds came up. But
just keep that safe for me for a while, huh?
Yeah. Well, which one do you guys like more? Do you guys like the platinum?
Oh, I think you should keep the Bonds. I think that's the best card I've seen. Definitely keep the Bonds.
From a non-biased perspective, I think I like the Bonds better.
The gold looks awesome, dude. I mean, I'll agree with that, Alan. I think the gold is where it's at, but I mean, easy for me to say. I know. Can you believe I said that? I don't know, man. It's crazy. I don't know. It's tough, man. Because the prices do get a little bit crazy, but definitely an amazing card. I just hate the picture. The A-Rod picture on one of them is so boring because he's just like jogging around the bases. So I'm like, okay, I got to come up with reasons to let it go. But Greg, are we doing okay on time, or do you gotta get ready to go?
One more card, and then I gotta bounce.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it, man. What's your Oh my gosh, that's amazing, dude. Where did you get that?
There he is.
If we splice together all the time we spent looking and talking about this card, we could have like a standalone episode. Just like you wouldn't even have to shoot a new one, Matt. This is like a compilation episode.
Greg, I like how you peeked through the corner. That was awesome. Can you do that one more time, like out of the corner, just like dude, that's great.
He's standing over. He knocked him out. Just messed him up, man.
Can somebody in the chat go make a Muhammad Ali, Greg, like supercut compilation video from all of our episodes? I would pay you money to do that.
Oh man,
got messed up. I'm gonna mess you up.
That's awesome. Oh, there it is. There it is. I mean, I'm trying to think back to the first time. Greg, like, you really sold it, Greg. You're like, guys, I got one more card. This is the biggest card I've shown. And then he pops that up, and I'm like, what the? Like, I was all excited for a salmon, you know? Oh, dude, that was awesome. Well, Greg, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks again for hopping on, and I'll be in contact with you about next week. I got something pretty excited planned, so I'll let you know.
Sounds good. Alan,
okay, buddy.
Take care.
Well, Alan, I guess to wrap it up with our conversation, I mean, you've been a big insight into the whole market side of things too, man. I mean, you've got your hand on the heartbeat of it a little bit more than most of us, because I'm kind of dipping in and out, mostly staying in modern right now, you know. But I will say that to kind of go off of what you said, I'm not going to show any of the glass nows because I want to save those for a mail day episode. But I got to show you, I did pick up a few basketball cards. Can you believe that? I actually ventured into that market, but only modern. Because and you know who it is, right? Like, I've shown the cards off in one of the groups, but you know, I've had a lot of fun adding cards of a player that kind of reminds me of like, what I could have been if I would have been more athletic and played basketball my entire life. But I really like watching, because I've been a Heat fan since Wade played. I really like watching this guy play, and that's Duncan Robinson. This is the like refractor prism parallel, and they typically sell for like $40 to $50 of him because it's technically a rookie card, kind of like Bo Bichette. He was a rookie last year, but all of his cards this year are rookies.
Okay.
But I was able to get that one for like $2 plus shipping, and I couldn't believe it, man. I was like completely floored, and I've had a lot of fun grabbing cards, but I have to say that prices for basketball are just crazy, man. They are absolutely nuts, and so you have to really kind of wait for good deals to pop up like that, because a lot of the, I can kind of show the book that I have going so far, but a lot of these cards are, on average like $20 a piece, or 25. And if you don't get at them quick, then the prices are like, he has one good game, his cards go up $15. It's like, nuts, dude.
Basketball is on a different level. I can't even believe you attempted to go into that sport in particular. It's so expensive that at least for 90s cards, there's a huge counterfeiting problem. I don't know
really
where this, but like the 1998 Essential Credentials, I saw some counterfeit of the pink and green cards in the forums on Blowout they look exactly the same. The person who posted it says, these are counterfeits. For those of you who know it, don't point out the reasons that this is a counterfeit, because we don't want the counterfeiters to know how to better counterfeit cards in the future.
Oh, well, you'll have to tell me that later. I'm curious, because it's going to bleed into baseball, and I don't want to see that happening. Hopefully it doesn't too much,
That's one of the reasons that I hope it doesn't approach basketball prices, because if it does, then that sort of thing is going to happen.
Well, we should all cross our fingers for that big dip in prices to happen sooner than later, so we get our cards before they bounce up again.
Seriously, I would never do basketball. I went towards hockey. I've showed this off before.
I love that card, dude.
Out of 30. This is Joe Sakic, Hall of Fame player, Colorado Avalanche. The back looks very similar in design to baseball, but I don't know if you guys can see on the in the camera here that the gloss is different. This is much more of a foil, sort of smooth, slick shine, whereas the baseball one has divots and rivulets and pock marks to it, which creates a different kind of look than the one in hockey. Which is one of the cool things about collecting. You've mentioned this before. One of the cool things about collecting different sports with the same sets is that you can see some of the minor differences in between sports.
Right. No, for sure. And again, to kind of bounce off that, Alan, one thing that I do like about hockey, and because Upper Deck is still making their cards, is that they can still kind of approach this like retro-y looking design. And I'm going to show you a card here. I know you're in love with this in baseball, but I mean, as soon as I show it, what does this card remind you of? This is out of 100 of my favorite goalie, Tristan Jarry. I mean, what does this remind you of, dude? Other than the fact that it's really blurry and you can't see what it is. See it, so. All right, hold on. There it is.
This reminds me of the MVP, right?
Dude.
Prescripts.
Like the same design. So
amazing.
Dude, it's been really cool to kind of dip into modern hockey, but have it be here. Go ahead and show off the 90s again.
I just picked this up recently. I ran it by you. I knew that you had this already. Somebody
did.
Kind enough to just give it to you, right?
I know, dude. I couldn't believe it, man. Couldn't believe it.
This is one of my favorites. I know that it doesn't do as much for you, but I love the design of the base design already does it. But the hollow foil shine is great. And then of course, since this is the superscript, it's out of 25. You can see that right there.
Well, can you hold that up again? Because we're going to compare superscripts from then to now, because I have one of a hockey player here.
Okay.
But that's got the one I just showed, the gold, that is the 90s version of that that's called a 2-star, MVP 2-star. So it's kind of named differently, but with the same border and design. Like, you see how next to the MVP logo, do you see how little card stock there is? It's kind of the same on hockey, but then this is what the base design looks like for the superscript in hockey. And my lighting sucks, so I apologize. It looks very bland, but this has got the same holographic foil as that card as that you have, and it's out of 25. So I think it's really cool that they're still doing that. You know what I mean? They're kind of they're seeing how popular those designs are, and they're trying to keep that going. And it makes me really wish that Upper Deck made baseball still, because I feel like they could do some really, really cool, really, really cool things. I mean, or Fleer for that matter, like some of the bringing back their credentials design and stuff like that would be so cool. But,
right.
Fortunately, that's out the window,
For now.
Yeah.
For
now.
We'll see. Part of the reason that reminds me of something. Part of the reason that these superscripts, MVP 99 and 2000 superscripts, mean as much to me is because I did hockey right around 2010, and in the packs of Upper Deck, which is like the flagship product for hockey, they would insert little MVP cards, I guess, just as promo cards. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was familiar with it. It's a set that's continued to this day in hockey, and that's why I know what space it occupies. It's for kids. Nobody really likes it. It's not worth a lot of money. But the fact that people felt about that the way they do about hockey now, back in 1999 and 2000, and didn't take care of these cards, makes these cards to me so much cooler.
Right. Well, can you imagine if they did, like, this is a superscript from 2016. I mean, can you imagine if they did something like this for, Bo Bichette or Mike Trout, how popular this card would be? I mean, that's with bad lighting, dude. So that's just so sick.
Card. Yeah, that's a gorgeous card for sure.
All right. I couldn't pass that one up for $5. I felt like, it was just fun to kind of go back and relive those designs, like hockey. They got in on that Fleer retro, and there was a lot of those credentials that were made for hockey, and just a lot of fun designs to make you think, oh man, if Fleer or Upper Deck were still putting out hockey cards, what kind of things could they do, but it's fun. It's again, this is all a side project, dude, and it kind of keeps the love for collecting going. Anybody that's watching, Greg and Alan and I have talked about this, like, don't be afraid to venture off a little bit. Don't be afraid. My foray into that was collecting Rick Ankiel, and from there it just kind of took off and really made collecting a lot of fun for me. It kind of took me to the next level of not having to stress about the price as much, and more or less just kind of have fun picking up cards, and really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's sage advice what you gave. I'll just show one more quick card.
Go for it, man.
Pick up. This is the bonds from, let me see, I think it's 2006 tops, and it's a variant of the regular base card. It's from Walmart. So Walmart released exclusive blaster boxes, and you can only get these cards in those black blaster boxes. And so for somebody who is looking for sort of non-conventional bonds cards to sort of expand my reach a little bit and my interests, I ran this by some of the bonds guys, and Ben Franklin really helped me out. He sent me a link to this card, and I was able to pick it up for just a couple of dollars. And it's such a cool card because it's not that easy to find. Apparently the Series 2 blaster boxes that these came in were like underproduced, so they're not they're not ultra easy to find. And I got a lot of satisfaction from this. It's one of those things where usually the way this hobby's been going is all my friends show me something I need, and that's half the reason I have the cards that I do. But right now, since I can't buy any cards, I actually hope that no big cards come up. I'm actually like ducking friends. I was like, please don't show me like an amazing card that I have to go after. And now is not a good time for that.
Well, it's funny you say that, because as soon as we get done going live, I have something I need to tell you. So get ready for that. The last card I'm going to show, again, I'm not going to show any of my glass now besides the finest. I gave people a little preview. I have a really fun mail day planned for tomorrow because my last two are coming in for this big run that I've been putting together. But my Tyler, our friend from Facebook, he sent me a mega box of Topps Chrome, and I posted this card already. I got to say, man, I feel like the Refractors give me a 90s vibe when I look at them, because they've got that pattern on them. They've got patterning. They've got shine. And I was lucky enough. He hasn't played very well yet, but this is a Gavin Lux X-Fractor. Look at that. The shine from my computer screen, it makes it awesome. Imagine what it did in good light. So I've got it in one of those black one touches, and I feel like this definitely made the box worth it for me. Really happy to pull a big time rookie out of that product. So definitely one of my favorite designs from this year are the X-Fractors. Absolutely amazing.
The beautiful look. One of the side effects of people sort of branching out is that I've seen a lot of different sports and eras that I normally wouldn't get exposure to. So I agree. I think they did a good job sort of continuing the tradition of the 90s shine in some of those products.
They have to, man. I mean, if you're a company, if you're Topps and you're in Upper Deck for hockey, and you're noticing, or even, I guess those two, and you're seeing how popular those cards from those years are, you gotta try to play your hand to that, you know. And if I'm tops every year, I keep doing the finest flashbacks until I make it through the 90s, and keep getting out of Centurions and put in those you know, iconic 90s inserts. I think that's the way to go. I mean, because yeah, you're putting modern players on these cards that we all loved as kids, and now we have a chance to get our favorite current players, you know, in those. So all we need to do is find you a Giants player to really go after, man, and then it's really going to be fun, huh?
We'll wait for the year after COVID. This is such a weird thing. A whole bunch of us are now trying to do like fantasy football drafts, but it's happening tomorrow. I can't even believe the season is upon us. So this is going to be a weird year. Let's talk next year about the prospect that I'm going to.
There we go. Awesome. Well, hey, for everybody that showed up, we had, you know, anywhere from 15 to 18 people in here watching. We all appreciate people in here and showing your support. That's the biggest thing for me. I've told you that, Alan. This is all for fun, and the people that show their support, very much appreciated. Love being able to talk 90s with you and Greg, and just cards in general. To give people a little bit of a preview of next week, I don't know who's going to be on, but I'm putting it together. We've talked a little bit about putting the best Fleer insert designs, like the top 32, like that bracket we did for the base cards, and working our way through all the Fleer inserts. And I mentioned that last week. I've got the list made. Now we just got to get the crew. So we're aiming for next Sunday. For all the people that are watching, I'm gonna try to get the biggest group of people I've had, 7 people. Cross your fingers. I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Depending on who wants to talk the most, we just got to be quick with it. But once we get it figured out, I think it's going to be a really fun episode. And I don't know about you, Alan, but when I say Fleer inserts, not parallels, not credentials, or any of that, I'm just straight inserts. Yeah. What's the first one that comes to mind? Like when I say that like, oh man, that design is awesome from the 90s.
There's so many for me, but my favorite happens to be the Home Run King. So
there you go,
the wood grain one. So that's nice. The one I always go back to. That's the one my mind jumps to.
Right.
But I would also echo what you're saying about thanking everybody who watches. I kind of bump up the view count of the videos that I appear in sometimes, because I can't see the actual commentary in real time. So I just kept refreshing last time's episode to try to see what people were saying, along the course of the episode. It's really cool that people, spend the time to stop by and say hello.
Right. For sure. Well, everybody have a great week. Thanks again for coming in on a Labor Day, and be looking for that episode coming next Sunday. It'll probably be late afternoon, early evening, depending on all of our schedules, but I'll try to work it in. And I'm really excited to see what card comes out on top. That's going to be a really tough decision, but I think I might go for maybe at least a top 5 or top 4 and just leave it at that. But yeah, anyways.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks again, Alan, for coming in, and we'll see everybody next week. Have a good one, guys.
See you guys.